All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Awaken to Happiness Now Global Series, season 35. I was just like, wow. So I'm so grateful that we are launching this season 35, the spring-summer season. It is hot here, so it definitely feels like summer. But I just want to say really quickly, I'm just so grateful that I still have this opportunity and this platform to share the wisdom and teachings from these wonderful speakers. And I'm so grateful that you're all here with me and you're part of the community. And it is my deepest wish and desire that you receive value from these calls and from the show and from what we share. So if you haven't yet, please do subscribe on or join on YouTube so that you can watch all of the videos from this season and previous seasons. If you haven't joined the Facebook group, please do. Basically, it's just there just to give you information about the shows, etc. Same with the Telegram group and the WhatsApp group. It's just there for you to get the information for the daily or the regular shows. Okay, it's but it's also just to receive the energy and be part of the community. Okay, so I hope you will join those, and I hope you'll continue to join us usually Tuesdays and Thursdays, but some other days in between, right? For all of our live shows. And we do normally take live caller questions as well, so which I absolutely love. And so please do, raise your hand if you'd like to speak to Hope today and ask your question. We don't know what we're talking about exactly yet, or what kind of questions we're going to take yet, but you know what? Raise your hand anyways, right? So it is like, again, I'm just so excited, and I'm so grateful for all of you that are here and all of you who are going to be watching on the replay as we launch season 35 of the spring summer 2024 season. Today, my dear friend Hope Fitzgerald is back with us, and we're going to be talking about You Awake, Mastering the Art of Change with Hope Fitzgerald. Right. And so some of what we're going to learn today is, what is change literacy? Why is it important in an evolutionary sense? How does being awake, what does that really mean? Right. How does the infinity wave help with change dynamics? All of that and more. Of course, like I said, we're going to be taking some live caller questions as well. And for those of you who may not know Hope, um, we were just saying how she was with me at the beginning back in 2013, right? So we've known each other for a long time. She's been my guest many times on the show, and since 2010, Hope has been passionately sharing the infinity wave, a 10th dimensional tool revealed to her in a series of visions to accelerate personal and global spiritual evolution, leading to more joy and freedom even during tumultuous times. Her recent best-selling book, The Infinity Wave, Mastering the Art of Love, Compassion, and Flow, describes the wave's astounding arrival and the ensuing lessons it brought. She's conducted workshops on this powerful energy, appeared on various platforms like this one, and thanks to the wave's influence, has developed into a channel for a wide range of etheric masters. Now, before we get into the show, most of you know who I am, but in case you don't, my name is Shefaliburns. I was going by Laura Canfield for a long time, but since I'm back in Canada, I've gone back to using my legal name, Shefaliburns. And we do these shows, usually every week, a couple of times a week, and we do coaching, healing, etc., and all that and more. You can find out more of it just by going to Awaken to Happiness Now, the live show, or the replay page, or the special offer page, and looking at the About button. Okay, I don't really talk a lot about myself during these shows, because I really am here to bring you these wonderful speakers who are sharing their gifts and their teachings and their wisdom, etc. Okay, so, but if you ever want to know, just reach out. All right, so my dear friend Hope is back. Please join me in welcoming Hope back to the show. Hope, welcome. So glad you're here.
Thank you, Shefali. And I just want to acknowledge you for all these years of bringing so much wisdom, so many interesting people. You've just been a library, you've just been incredible. And so I really want to thank you, and I know we all do, for your service in this way, because a lot of the people who started out doing this back then don't do it anymore. It's not that easy to do, as you well know. It takes a lot of coordination, a lot of planning, a lot of time. And a lot of people just said, you know what, it's too much for me. But you've hung in there. And I just want to acknowledge you, really, because thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Yeah, and I'm blessed to have such a wonderful community as well, who is always so supportive, with me, for everything that I've been going through in the past couple of years. So I
Yeah.
couldn't have done it all without, these wonderful folks. So I'm so grateful and so blessed, and what a blessing to be able to be of service to people. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, and thank you, Hope.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful community you've built. So, hello, beautiful community. Here we are. So I guess I'm going to just talk a little bit about You Awake. Well, first I'll talk a little bit about the infinity wave, in case you haven't heard about it before. Can I show a picture of the book to see the wave? All right. So
Absolutely.
here's the book that I wrote about it, The Infinity Wave, Mastering the Art of Love, Compassion, and Flow. What I want you to notice is this figure 8 made of flowing water. Okay. That appeared to me in a series of visions in 2010 while I was walking across my living room. The book has all the nitty-gritty of the story of how it appeared to me, and then what I was told to do with it, which was to teach it. I didn't know what the heck I was teaching. I didn't want to do that at all, but I had made a previous vow that I would be a willing vessel. And when I was reminded of that vow, I realized I couldn't say no, I had to say yes. It was not my comfort zone in any way, shape, or form, but I went forward. And in 2011, I taught 9 weekend workshops. And in preparation for those weekend workshops, I received practices. And when I looked back at the order of the practices, I realized that it was a step-by-step process to allow someone to move from wherever they were on their spiral of evolution to the next level. It would never have occurred to me what came out in these practices. It just wasn't my voice coming through. I was not a channeler in my mind yet, but turns out I was. And that was also a huge surprise because I didn't really trust channeling. Yeah, well, the humor in the universe came around and kind of caught me unaware. Anyway, so those original 9 practices are a deep dive into an evolutionary leap. Now, back in 2010 and 2011, nobody was talking about evolution, believe it or not. Nobody was talking about infinities. Nobody had it in their logo or in a tattoo or in a piece of jewelry. I know because I looked hard because I figured if this thing is coming to me, it's got to be coming to others. It's got to be in the zeitgeist, right? Well, it turns out we got a whole year of working with it before it really entered. So let me just briefly explain that the visions I had were 3. The first one was a giant wave of water, beautiful, 10 stories high, moving slowly towards me. And the message of it was this wave represents a push of evolution that is coming to the planet. It's going to anchor in at the end of 2011. This was November 2010. And it would be in your highest good to learn to swim with it or surf it rather than resisting it. Then the wave turned on its side, became this letter C, kind of a big curling wave like this. And a surfer, you would imagine, coming through the barrel, kind of that look. And the message there was, as the water pulls away, the ocean water pulls away from the shore and deepens into the seabed, to gain its energy to create the crest. That's how the physics of a wave works. So should you, meaning me, but meaning everybody, leave your book learning on the shore, go to the earth, go to the wisdom keepers of the earth, go down into the earth, for your wisdom, and mix that with this incoming push, whatever this giant wave was. And then that letter C of water didn't just fall back down into the ocean. It turned into this figure 8 made of flowing water that I just showed you. And and there was no explanation, and it hung out in front of my third eye for a couple of days before I sat down with my dowsing rods and started asking questions about what the heck this thing was, because it was actually a little annoying. I was trying to go about my life, and there was this filmy thing in front of me. And I'd never had visions before. I never had something hanging out in front of my third eye before. And I was curious, and I wanted to know what it was. And then in a nutshell, I basically learned that the figure 8 made of flowing water had a name that we could use, the infinity wave. It's a representation, it's a metaphor of an energy that exists. And the time was now for it to be used on the planet. That it was going to be anchoring in at the end of 2011. So we had this, and then I was told I needed to create these workshops. And as I said, I didn't want to do that. I didn't know what I was doing. And I don't like being unprepared. I've taught a lot of things. I've been a leader. I've been a performer. It's not that I couldn't stand in front of a room, but stand in front of a room and teach something that I don't know what it is in a field of spirituality where I always felt like, and still do, like a student. I didn't want to go to the front of that room. I didn't feel I was worthy of that. And then I was told to get out of my own way, and that I had made a vow that I was here to be a willing vessel. And so I had to go forward with utter trust. Trust, trust with a capital T, because I was really walking blind. Long story short, I did all these workshops. I received these practices as we went along. I was understanding that what we were being given was a blueprint for what I came to call conscious evolution. I looked that term up, and all I could find was Barbara Marx Hubbard had some mention, but it wasn't what I was talking about. It wasn't what I was being shown and told. So I started to use this term conscious evolution. I named my company the Wave Energy Center for Conscious Evolution, because I realized we are going to be now aware of how we are evolving. Instead of it being something that's happening in the background, slowly over eons of time, no, things are happening faster and faster, and we need to be aware of it. We need to be conscious of how we are evolving and get in step with ourselves to make it happen the way we want it to. And that this infinity wave was an incredible tool given to us by a loving universe for the times that we're ahead at that point, and the times we have been through and are going through right now, to keep us in a state of love and compassion. So this was the other thing that I learned as I went through and received these practices, was that inherent in that watery flow was this 10th dimensional. It doesn't matter what dimension it is. What matters is extremely pristine, extremely purified version of love and compassion that we don't usually experience here on this planet. We're down here in 3D, where things are a lot denser. This version of love and compassion is way, way, way above it, way faster in its frequency than what we experience here. What we experience here has a lot of emotion in it, which there's nothing wrong with that. What is in the wave is something so light that it doesn't have any emotion. It's pure. It's amazing. So when we invite that level of love and compassion, And we don't have to manufacture it. We don't have to feel it. We just bring the wave in to our 3D world. Things start to change. Windows open up, doors open up, ideas come in, people, helpful guide teams, all kinds of things start to open. And the other piece of this is that it's a geometry, right? It's a figure 8 for a reason. And that the middle part of the 8 does not touch. There's a gap between the planes so that it is always flowing endlessly, infinitely, right? There is already, we know that is not a new geometry. That's an ancient geometry. And the geometry itself has potency. And we have a fellow here who has the beautiful crop circle that came in, demonstrating triple infinity and the flow that it takes. So the infinity sign, the geometry of it itself, in and of itself, is ultimately perfectly balanced. It is a different version of the yin yang. It's a way of understanding that all things expand and contract, and that there is a flow to that. This is true in our personal lives. This is true in the universe. At the moment, the universe is expanding, but at some point before it expanded, it was contracted. And at some point, we will contract again. So this is a natural order, and we can apply it at every level of life. Those are just some of the aspects of the figure 8. Then you add the water. And there's so much to know about water and say about water, but just to keep it simple, water is flow. Water will find, it will carry whatever energy you put it into it. This has been proven by Dr. Emoto. This has been proven currently by the wonderful Veda Austin, who I recently interviewed. She is doing, if you don't know, Veda, Veda, Austin, like the city. She's from New Zealand. And she has been doing for 10 years water research on how water holds consciousness. So she has these little glass dishes, and she'll put an image or an idea into the water, flash freeze it. She has a particular methodology that's quick. So you're not freezing it overnight. You're freezing it for a few minutes, just so the top layer of the water gets hard. And then she takes it out and looks at it. And you would be amazed. Go to her YouTubes, go to her website, and you will see hundreds and hundreds of examples of how the water receives the message that's sent. There's one that I really love. I mean, there's so many that I love, but there's one that I really just adored. And that was a woman who sent her frozen sample. And the woman was trying to decide whether she should stay or go in a relationship. She asked the water, should I stay or should I go? Freezes the water. A few minutes later, takes it out, and plain as day, it says go. You can't make it up. Anyway, there are many, many examples and details in the water, like calling on an ancestor and seeing a Native American complete with feathers and jewelry and all of this. Just, it's phenomenal. I had to take a deep dive with water when the infinity wave came in. So I've been on this path for a very long time. But because of Veda, lots of people are now entering this deep dive as well. And it's very exciting because so many people are doing these experiments and proving to themselves that the water is listening. The water is aware. Dr. Emoto himself, and I read all his books and listened to his interviews, and he came this close to saying printing, water is God. But in an interview, he actually said it. So Veda might be one, she's got it up there in her, we're all on the same page with this. Could it be that the thing that is most ubiquitous, you know, even oxygen doesn't exist in space, air doesn't exist in space, but water does. Water is everywhere and in everything. So if we think about this thing that we take for granted, you know, and understand that it's, wow, it's actually conscious, it has memory, and it will inform us, by the way, it will speak back to us. Okay, so now it's a little more clear why the infinity wave came in the form of water. It's also reminding us that the water in our bodies are communicating with our outside world and each other all the time. When we invite the infinity wave in to our fields, our physical bodies, our emotional bodies, this 10th dimensional love and compassion now comes in and works with the water in our bodies and the water in our fields. It calms the system. It rearranges our emotional state in a matter of seconds. It's happened to me multiple times, and not just me, lots and lots of people. Okay, so that's the basic background of the infinity wave. And I encourage you, not just for sales, although half the sales of my book go to a nonprofit where I'm helping orphans in Nepal who age out of an orphanage get established as young adults. So that's my big Save a project. So the book sales goes towards that, a large degree of it. But it's a handbook. It'll teach you how to use it multiple ways. There's demonstrations in it. There's images in it. There's everything you need to know to get the wave working for you. Now, I've talked about the wave as an evolutionary tool, but there's also the daily wave. And that's how you can use it in daily life. And those are in the book as well. So that's the preamble to the You Awake work. So I'm going to take a pause because I've talked a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just wanted to say I put in the chat the name Veda Austin if anybody wants to take a look on YouTube or Google her and find out more information about what Hope was just talking about. So that's there for you. But yes, absolutely. You know, the infinity wave, you know, if we can learn how to use it in our day-to-day lives, it will help us to get to that point where we can start to use it as an evolutionary tool. And when we talk about evolution, for me, that means change, and that means expansion, that means growth, right? And I was, you know, as I'm just filling up time for a second, just so that Hope can take a breath. But before we started recording today, I was saying how, you know, I've been doing this since 2013. I'm not the same person as I was back then. I'm different. I've changed. I've evolved. I've grown. Hopefully, I have more wisdom, hopefully, right? But the thing is, we're always changing, right? But what does change mean, right? And is it conscious choice change, or is it unconscious? Is it, you know, the change that you would like, or is it sometimes the change that your soul desires for you, right? So obviously, I have a lot of questions about change right now, because I'm going through a lot of changes still. So it's definitely there in my awareness about change. What is change? What is evolution? What is growth? You know, all that kind of stuff, right? So we're going to talk about that today, about you awake, and you awake meaning you as a more of an awakened person, more of a conscious person, than somebody who's just on automatic pilot. And most of us know what that means. Most of us are being more and more present and choosing. There's another word that wants to come through, but it's not coming in right now. But we're choosing our realities. We're choosing our day-to-day intentions, and you know, we are driving the bus more and more than we were in the past, right?
Yeah. Well said. Well said. Yeah, so let's move into this discussion about change. A lot of people here may know the name Craig Hamilton. He's done a lot of, spiritual work over the years. Craig said something one day that just tickled me. He said, everybody wants to be enlightened, but nobody wants to change. Oh, bingo. Oh, bingo. He said that many years ago, and it's just stuck with me. He's not the first one to say that. I think it was Francis Bacon also said it in different language. But it's so true. And so let's talk about change and why this topic is so appropriate for not only the Infinity Wave, but this You Awake workshop that I'm working on. So when the wave came in, it was also clear to me that it was here to help with this push of evolution, these changes that we were going to be asked to make as time went by. The thing that, when we talk about change, most people, we're kind of hardwired not to change. You think back to caveman times. Once you found your cozy caveman, you stayed there. You didn't go far. You knew where you could build your fire safely, so you didn't choke yourself. You knew where the animals were. You knew where everything was, and you stayed in your cave because there's a lot of danger and unknown out there. So you only moved out when you had to, when you were forced to. And who knows, you probably found something better. Who knows? The question is, it puts you into the I don't know realm. The interesting thing is, we really don't change until we move into the I don't know realm. I call it I don't know mind. Wow. We could call it curiosity, but it's even more than that. It's a willingness to sit in I don't know and be comfortable there. This gets back to the trust. So we are being called upon to evolve, to change much more quickly. As I said, the wave is here to help us with that. Not only does it calm our systems in the face of change, but it kind of holds us in a way where we can open with this higher frequency. We can open to nudges, to intuition, to messages, to direction. We start to work more consciously with the I don't know who's guiding me thing. Now, we can all help ourselves with different divination tools along this way. I happen to use dowsing rods. I love them a lot, but I use other things too. Some people like cards. Some people do I Ching. All kinds of things can be used. I highly recommend at least one divination tool to sort of test yourself, but also when you get a response to a question that you've asked through divination, it's really important to do what you're told. It's important to say, okay, you told me I should go to the grocery store on Thursday, but I really want to go tomorrow. No, go on Thursday. What that does is it starts to say to your guide team or whoever it is, whatever it is that's working with you, you're listening, you're paying attention. This builds the conversation, this builds a relationship so that as the questions get more risky, more scary, maybe even, you have already now built up a relationship and a trust in your guidance that you're willing to take the risk. You're willing to put yourself out there and maybe even fall off the cliff and take a big risk. This is a big part of how we're being asked to change. We're being asked to get out of our 3D, low ceiling, linear, dualistic framework. That's kind of a cage. We're being asked to break out of that cage, open everything up. Working with the wave will help make that happen more comfortably. Not that it's going to be easy, not that it's going to be painless, but it's just going to help the process happen. As we know, if we stand on the shore and a big wave comes our way and we stand there rigidly, boom, we're going to get knocked over. If we dive into the wave, we're going to come out on the other side just fine. If we get on a boogie board and start body surfing that wave, we're going to be fine. We have to work with the dynamics of change in order to evolve. Why is evolution important? I believe, and I think you'll probably all agree with me, we come in with something called our soul. And that's all we come in with, naked, just with our soul. We exit just with our soul. The in-between times between entrance and exit is whatever we do to adjust, shine, enlarge, grow that soul, so that when we leave, we've done something special with that soul. That soul is going out wiser and ready for the next level. So it doesn't have to go back and repeat whatever this level was. We've accomplished it. That's evolution. Now you're ready and free to go do whatever's next. So I think that's our whole purpose for being here. So that's why evolving is important. Now, we all know we've been through the mill in the last 4 years. So much change, so fast. In the old days, we would have gone to some mountain. We would have taken a 3-month to 3-year sabbatical. We would have done deep meditation, and we would have done all the things we needed to do to help realign ourselves for our soul's evolution. We do not have that time anymore. We do not have that luxury anymore. We need something that moves us, changes us, adjusts us quickly. The 4 years that we've been through and are still going through probably aren't going to stop. There's going to be more and more and more change, because for so many reasons. Not only are we moving through the photon belt, not only are we coming out of the Kali Yuga, not only is it the 12,500, there are so many things. There's increased light from the galactic center. There's a whole other ball of wax, which I don't think I'll have time to go into today, but it has to do with galactic energies coming to us, pushing everything in its way into a higher frequency, suns, moons, planets, etc. So it's happening. How are we going to respond? We are not going to go backwards. That's for darn sure. And what has happened, what I noticed, and this is where we're getting to the You Awake work. What I noticed is during those lockdown years and in the couple of years ever since, some of us, in spite of ourselves, have had certain pieces of us sort of get and stay frozen. Kind of like we're in the cave, holding our breath for the big mammoth to go by. Are they all by now? Can we come out again? Is it safe? You may or may not have been experiencing this, but if you think about it, you ask yourself questions. Do I go out as much as I used to go out? Do I laugh as deeply as I used to laugh? Am I getting together with friends in the same way? Are we having those wonderful times that we used to have? Am I isolating more? Am I feeling down? Is my energy lower? You start to think about the patterns of life that you used to have and that you have now. Do I feel more encumbered by all the things that are happening in the world? Has my life changed dramatically and I haven't caught up to it yet? It is all happening too fast for me. Have I tremendous losses that have happened over the last 4 years that I haven't even been able to process? These are so common, these issues. They're so, so common. And because of the speed of our current lives, and guess what? With AI, with the Aquarian age, it's just going to get faster. It's important, so important, to take a pause and catch up with ourselves. Wow, I need to take a breath. I need to clear out the loss, the pain, I need to take a moment to digest it, acknowledge it. I need to forgive myself and others, even if it's the big others, the ones who are running the world, whatever it is. I need to move into forgiveness. Out of this acknowledging the losses, I need to move into forgiveness because it's weighing on my being. Moving through forgiveness, I need to come and assess where I am in space. One thing that COVID brought us was right up to our faces, the reality of our mortality. All of a sudden, in our lovely culture that loves to turn a blind eye to it, loves to pretend it isn't happening or isn't going to happen to us. And I think it's a Buddha said, what is the most remarkable thing in all the world? My partner Gary always likes to say this. The most remarkable thing in all the world is that we're all going to die and none of us thinks it's going to happen to us. So in our process, I'm kind of giving you the process before I talk about, as I'm introducing the workshop. The third part of the process is facing that mortality, and not just the reality of it, but the awesome possibilities of freedom that facing it brings. The beauty of the freedom. And when we emerge out of that, we come back into this incredible gratitude and joy for the life we have. No matter how flawed it is, just the fact that we're here, we're still polishing our souls as best we can in preparation for when we do go. It's such an honor. It's such a gift. And we get down to the core of that in a way that we can hold on to it and keep it present in our daily lives. That is waking up. That is waking up. So that's why we call it You Awake, Mastering the Art of Change. Change doesn't just happen on all these levels all at once. Change happens in many levels, sometimes at different times and stages. We're presenting this workshop as a way to catch up with oneself. Let's bring the pieces that haven't mourned yet. Let's bring the pieces in that haven't forgiven yet. Let's bring in the pieces that we don't wake up and say, you know what, I really want to face my death today. I mean, that's not something we do readily, right? But it's important to do. The Buddhists do it. They die every night. They wake up anew, freshly born every day. It's a healthy way to do it, actually. We need to do something to give ourselves a moment to bring that into our fields, into our beings. And then to realize this gift of life and that there is a joy in it. And I just want to say one thing before I stop again. On one Monday night a month, I do a lot of things on Monday nights, but one Monday night a month, I do something called the Channeling Salon. And normally I don't talk about this on shows and stuff, but I'm bringing it up because of this one piece. This last Monday, 2 days ago, is today Wednesday? Yes. 2 days ago, one of the beings who came in to the Channeling Salon was Mother Mary. Now, Mother Mary doesn't come all the time. She comes usually when someone in the group is a person who is a devotee. I never know who that person is or whatever, but when Mother Mary comes in, I know, oh, somebody in the group is a Mother Mary person. So I didn't say anything about that. Mother Mary came in, she said her piece. And this is what I want to share with you, because it's really, really about this last section of our workshop. She talked about the courage that it takes to live in joy. Now, you first thought is, oh no, I can just live in joy. That's, no, that's not what she's talking about. What she's talking about is being that beacon of light, that beacon of joy in the face of all the other stuff that's happening in the world. Being that lighthouse in the face of chaos and destruction and blah, blah, blah. Not for the sake alone of oneself, but for the sake of the light frequency, the love frequency that is beaming out from oneself to everyone else. In that way, you can understand, I'm sure, that it takes some discipline, some diligence, some commitment to be joyful in the midst of all the other stuff. Because what's happening in the world, it wants to pull us back into our caves. It wants us to retract and retreat and feel sad and heavy and burdened. We don't have to go there. It's a choice. We can do what Mother Mary said. And by the way, I've been teaching this for many years, but she brought it in such a beautiful way that I'm happy to quote her. That we cannot help so many of the things going on in the world. We have the infinity wave, and she talked about that too, as our way of sending love and compassion where it is needed in the world. This is not to turn a blind eye to all the things that are happening, not at all. We continue to stay in love and compassion with all of those things. And it's, again, out of duality where it's yes or no, this or that. When we're using the wave, we're out of duality and we have a yes and available to us. We have the yes of all the things that are happening in the world, sending them love and compassion, with or without the infinity wave, however you want to do it, and the choice to stay in this joyfulness for the life that we have on this planet, because that beacon of light is going to help. It's going to help the field more than anything else. Okay, I'm going to stop talking now.
Well, that was amazing. That was so needed and so relevant what you just shared. And part of the the past 4 years, you were talking the past 4 years, and I'm as you were speaking about it, I'm looking at my life of the past 4 years, and it's like, yeah, I haven't had time to catch up. I haven't had time to be okay with it, kind of thing. I haven't, and for me, it's a part of it is also grieving. I'm grieving the loss of the life I had, and all that stuff. So there's a lot that's been happening in the past couple of years. I always said, oh, COVID was not affected by COVID at all. What are you talking about? But there was still a lot going on in my life, regardless. And maybe, because of COVID, it just made everything more intense and more difficult and all that stuff, right? But the thing is, like, have I caught up yet? No, I have not, right? And so have I given myself that space to catch up? Not really. I haven't. I know I haven't. I pushed myself a lot, right? So, it's just that recognition of what is needed, for a lot of us, I think, still is that the acceptance, the allowance, and the forgiveness for ourselves and others, for sure, absolutely. And also just giving yourself the time and space and the grace and compassion to, you know, acclimate a little bit or integrate some of the changes going on.
Exactly. And I do this workshop with my dear friend Gary Malkin, who's a well-known composer. All my meditations I do to Gary's music because it's so spacious. I don't know what he's plugged into, but he's plugged into something magnificent. And just a few notes of his music, I drop right in and boom, we're off to the races. So Gary and I share this perspective about change dynamics. And so we deliver this workshop together, hand in hand. In each of those 4 modules, except the 4th one, there is a practice that has come in, divined especially for each one of the modules to his music. And then at the end of it, he takes us through the roof with his beautiful singing and this and that. It's absolutely fantastic. People emerge out of this just so happy, so happy. So, I mention it because we are going to do an online version on July 20th. And if anybody wants to join us, we'd surely love to have you. It's very effective in 6.5, 7 hours. You enter one way and you exit another way. And then you have those tools forever. And you have lots of gifts from us and all that kind of stuff. But I mention it because there is this need, as you just said, Shefali. We don't have a place to go where we can matriculate all this. I have friends who lost their home in the Maui fire. And then swiftly after that, had another disaster. And swiftly after that, another disaster. A lot of people have had multiple disaster upon disaster upon disaster. And when you can't catch up, so what starts happening is that stuff, that grief starts driving your bus. You mentioned driving the bus earlier. It starts driving your bus and we're not aware of it. And we start shutting down and we start getting physical issues. And we don't want that. Everybody's so needed now to be those beacons, to be those lighthouses. That's why we're doing this work, to help everybody kind of not just get restored, but up-leveled.
Awesome. I love it. So is it, you said it's in July. Is it an online workshop or in person?
Online, July 20th. And I don't have the link right now, but is it okay to send people to my website because they'll get it that way?
Yeah, and then when you do have the link, you can just send it to me and I'll send out an email with it, and that way people can know about it as well.
I have it
definitely
in my email. Let me just see if I can find it 1 second while we're talking.
And so in the meantime, I know that we have some people with their hands raised. Anybody have any questions for Hope about the infinity wave or about change and how to manage, what, type of change you might be going through? I think last time we did a lot of like mini readings. We don't have a lot of time for that, but if anybody has any questions, you can go ahead and raise your hand, or you can type your question into the chat, because I know some people are not always able to come on live with us. Let me just so go ahead and put your questions in the chat as well. And again, this is about being kind and compassionate for yourself. We have been going through a difficult time. I'm going to say more than 4 years. I'm going to say 5 years, 6 years. And, change is something that is always going to be happening. We're always going through some sort of change, but so we also need that mechanism or tool to help us to integrate the change with ease, right? And so when we're not, then we go into chronic stress, right? Chronic stress and acute stress, which I know I am going through, but even with some of my tools, it's not as bad as it could be. Yes, right. But when you have acute stress and chronic stress, it can be very debilitating, and that's one of the reasons why I moved back to Canada. It's like I'm not getting sick. It's like absolutely not. So it's like I need to take care of myself, right? And so that was one of the main reasons for me coming back home, was I needed I needed the support. I needed to take care of myself and my health before it went sideways, right? So You do have to think about yourself. You do have to make yourself a priority, and at the same time, do what's right for you. All right. All right. How's it going? Hope, did you find it?
Yes, I'm just going to email it to myself so that I will share it in 1 second.
Awesome. So in the meantime, we have two people with hands raised. I think the first one is Stella, but I could be wrong. Is that you, Stella, with the iPhone that starts with number 9?
Yes, that's me. That's me.
Oh, I thought so. It's like I think it's Stella. So
Yeah, it
what
is.
question do yeah, what question do you have for Hope, Stella?
I would like her to scan me and tell me what is it that I'm coming up to new now? What is it that I have to do now? What is
You know
my
that's you know that's too vague. Yeah, I want you to pick, a specific
well,
area.
like you said, a change. And I think
Mhm.
I'm ready for the change in my relationship. I'm ready to let it go.
Yes, I know it's
I
relationship because you always ask about relationships. So
and well,
it's
my
been
health.
it's
No, really, really is my health. I have
see there's a
an
difference.
I have a cyst on my right ovary, and my appendicitis. My appendicitis. Yeah, my appendicitis is supposed to be full. It could rupture anytime, but I
Oh,
hope
okay.
it
Your
not to.
appendix could rupture.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
acute.
okay. So what is your question about? Is it about your health, or is it about your relationship, or is it about your
Yeah,
appendix
let's do my
bursting?
health.
What?
More important, my health.
I have to say, I would prefer not to do a health question. I'm sorry. I'm not as comfortable doing that, especially
Okay,
in a group setting like this.
So let's do relationship.
let's do a relationship.
All right.
Yeah.
What would you like to know?
So what's the question about the relationship?
If it's the time to let it go right now.
I need a first name.
My name is Estela and his name is Edgar.
Edgar.
Edgar?
Edgar.
How do you spell it?
Edgar.
Yeah,
Edgar.
Mhm.
Is it in Estella's highest physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual good to leave her relationship with Edgar? Yes, it is.
It is, right? It's the right time.
Yes, it is.
I was gonna say it's been the right time for a while now, Stella.
For a long
okay.
time, right? I
Yeah,
just gave
yeah.
it too many chances that it didn't
Yeah.
work. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what about a change in a career? I mean, my career okay? And what I'm doing okay? What I'm doing right now, healing and
Estella, I think we should let somebody else ask a question. And if there's time, we'll come back to you for that one, okay?
all right. Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
You're so
Thank you,
welcome.
Stella. Thank you, Stella. And I think you're fine with your career. You're doing great. So I wouldn't worry about that. But yeah,
Okay.
definitely work on the relationship. Yeah. Thank you, Stella. All right, we're gonna go to Tatiana.
Hello, ladies. My love to
It's
everyone.
Tanya.
Finally, I'm
I
here.
Did you
So
ever
my
move?
No, I haven't moved yet, but I was told it will be in September, so I'm waiting for it. I can wait for
Okay.
another 3 months.
Okay.
So my question is, I always think like, well, my marriage, everything, like, yes, I also went through awakening and lockdown and COVID and all that stuff. Just changed so many things in my life. And now I didn't want to kind of neither date nor have anyone in my life. Honestly, I was put off completely. And 2 years later, I'm kind of thinking of, or maybe it's not too bad if you have someone who is supportive rather than unsupportive. And then I'm listening to some people. I think, is it out of lack of kind of that I feel like I'm not complete, or like should I just go follow my dreams and my kind of life reason, life purpose, or like if I like someone, I should kind of consider having relationship. So the question is completely different. I have the friend he believes he's gay, which is fine with me because I'm at that state of mind that I'm fine with platonic relationship rather than romantic relationship. But I think he's because he doesn't know me well, he probably doesn't think that I like him platonically. And so we have a little bit kind of like not normal relationship, but he's trying to kind of make it look like that I cannot like come forward, and I'm not going to come forward further than there is, there is always the line that I can cross. And I will tell you the names, and you will tell me.
I don't understand the question, though.
I don't understand the
The question is it normal to still, even though I'm following my purpose of life, still be in romantic relationship, or should we go beyond it and go into divine love and just have love to everything, everyone, and universe?
So should she
Okay.
have a relationship or not?
Is
basically?
it in
Yeah.
Tatiana's highest
Yeah.
physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual good to enter into a romantic relationship at this time? No. So romance at this time, not in the cards for you.
No. Okay, friendship, like I have a friend, David, and would it be fine to have a friend, like male friend?
Sure.
It's always fine to have a friend.
Yeah.
So it's okay to have a friend.
Totally.
Of course.
Thank you so
You're
much.
thinking too much, Tanya. You're thinking way too much.
Yeah, I'm very analytical. I know.
Yeah.
I want to thank you for bringing this subject up, because I talked a lot about trust. And trust, what's required to build trust is to release this need to know, this analyzing. It's just our human brains wanting to think that it has control about something. If we name it and we claim it, then we know it and we own it. It's like, that's not true, but it's what we do. It's not true. When I went to Israel and I went to all these holy places, every single one of them had a big or small, some kind of chapel built over the rock where something happened, and then he said this over here. And so there's a cathedral there. And it's like our tendency to try to take the mystical and put it in a box, literally, is something to be pushed away. Like, let's not do that anymore. Let's not write words on it, decide what it is, blah, blah, blah. Let's just let it float. Let's not name it. Let's just be in it and see where it takes us. That is how we start to, that's surrender. Yes, that in the nicest way. It's not a lack when we surrender. It's a joyful joining with spirit to guide us and to be open to that curiosity.
Yeah.
To trust the divine plan.
Yeah, just wow, isn't that interesting? Wow, look at that. Wow, look at that. Try not to get your knuckles around something and squeeze it to death.
And when the time is right, Tanya, you can have both. You can have a romantic relationship and you can have divine love. Like, why is it has to be one or the other? It doesn't. You can have both. Okay.
I always thought if we leave that 3D completely, maybe we don't live in that duality. We don't we consider ourselves complete. When you're complete, unless you met your soulmate, probably, I have no idea, you don't feel like you're lacking some another person in your life to kind of be happy. That's what I mean.
Yeah, but a romantic relationship with somebody does not mean that you're lacking or that the other person completes you. That's a Hollywood theme. That is not real life.
Yes, if I'm
this
if
is
I'm at
not
that
Jerry
state,
Maguire.
yeah.
This is
think
not
When I
she's
Jerry
saying,
Maguire where she
I think
says,
she's saying
or he
that.
says,
Yeah.
you complete me or whatever, you know? That's not true.
yeah, yeah. No, I just thought to myself, when I reach that state, when I just share with somebody my emotions and my love, then it will be from out of a different place, right? So,
Yeah.
and as I'm still healing, probably you're right. I don't need it at the moment. Thank you.
There you
Yeah.
go. There you go.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you, Tanya.
Thank you, Alara. Thank you, Hope.
So there was a question from Linda in the chat. She says, I love what you talked about with Mother Mary. Do you have any suggestions to overcome to feeling guilty or so foreign when trying to live in love and joy from the heart?
Feeling guilty about living in joy? Is that what she's asking?
Feeling guilty or so foreign when trying to live in joy and from the heart. Yeah.
Well, you know, in my experience, there's guilt that comes because we know we've transgressed in some way. And we can do everything we can to right the wrong as much as we possibly can. And then there's systemic guilt that is coming from a place that is not our own voice. It's parental, it's societal, it's teachers, you name it. It's important to make the distinction between those two things. Because if you haven't done anything wrong, if you know you haven't done anything wrong, then you go, well, then who is it that's telling me that I'm not measuring up in some way? Is it God? No, God's not going to do that. Is it my parents, my grandparents? Is it the lineage that I grew up in? Well, then I get to say, is that true? Is it true that I should feel badly if I'm joyful? This is really important, to be taking all these beliefs that are woven into our fabrics and question them. Put them up on the chopping block and say, is this true for me? Do I want this to be true for me? What if I said, I no longer believe that. Therefore, it's no longer true for me that feeling good means I get equals feeling guilty. And then just sit with that. It's a choice. If I choose to feel joyful and not feel guilty, wow, how does that feel? How does that feel? It should feel darn good. It should feel freeing, and it should feel authentic. The other voices that are not your own are not authentic to you. So you got to comb through all of those beliefs that you have. And sometimes they rear their ugly heads in ways that are surprising. And you go, whoa, where did that come from? Turns out it's been there all along, but it wasn't woven into your system by you. It's woven in by someone else. In our evolutionary process, we get to choose which threads stay and which threads go.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And, you know, I just want to add, question everything. Like, question your thoughts, question your feelings, question your emotions. Are they true for you? Is it valid? Is it relevant? I mean, you know, and I find myself questioning stuff all the time. And I know that I'm not the same person as I was 10 years ago. So I don't have the same belief systems exactly as I did then. And as I continue to grow in wisdom, hopefully you know, my consciousness will expand, my awareness will expand. You know, I will change my beliefs because they don't suit me anymore. They don't work for me anymore, or I realize they're not true for me. You know, so definitely question. But yeah, great question. Thank you. Teresa
So,
says, what to do
Shefali,
when it, go ahead. Yeah,
I think I can only do one more question. My voice is starting to really give out.
yeah, I noticed that. Okay, no worries. Teresa was saying, what to do when it seems I'm subconsciously self-sabotaging every possibility of change. Maybe it's a big question. What to do when it seems I'm subconsciously self-sabotaging every possibility of change? Work with the wave.
Yeah. And ask if you really are self-sabotaging, or if you're being nudged in a direction that you haven't been listening to.
Yeah.
Get your dowsing rods out, get your pendulum out, get your cards out, get a session with me, do whatever, get a session with somebody else, and ask if that's really true. All right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. And that's the thing, again, it is about questioning. Is it really true for you? And, not from the mental space, right? Drop down into your heart. If you're a feeling person, feel, is that really true for you? I'm a feeler, so, I feel, or, sometimes I will just use the oracle cards, right? For a quick question kind of thing. But, don't make it so significant either. I feel like you're just making it really significant, so don't make it so significant either, okay? You bring a lot of energy into it. Okay, I'm looking at the time. I just want to talk about this special offer really quickly. Let me just share my screen 1 second here. So the special offer is pretty simple. There's one package. Hopefully you can see that. It's the digital copy of the Infinity Wave and the original practices, plus a 30-minute personal dowsing session with Hope. Okay, so it's basically the PDF copy of the book, and then the practices, right? So there's 9, I think, practices. So then the 9 practices. I'm just trying to remember. I think these are all audios, right? Right, Hope?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
let me just say, they need to be downloaded to a computer, not a phone or a tablet. From a computer, they can be shared to your phone or tablet, but for licensing and blah, 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 nothing in my control. They have to go onto a computer.
Mm-hmm. So
Now, I also
download it.
want to say, I also want
Yeah.
to say that if you order these before Friday, my tech person took a much deserved vacation this week. So don't get frustrated. She'll be back on board on Friday, and she'll fix this all up if you go to order and for something happens. Just let me know. I ordered this from Shefali, and we'll take care of you, okay? But don't get frustrated. We'll get it working.
It'll be okay. I was looking at the link for the, like, after you purchase what they receive a link to book their session, and then I forget what else happens with the 9 practice sessions and the book. But it's pretty straightforward, so no reason to stress out about it. If you need help, also you can also message me as well, okay? So the second part of this package is a 30-minute personal dowsing session with Hope. And I remember, when she was on back in January and she was doing dowsing, I was like so amazed. It's like, oh my goodness, she's so good. I was like, she's like so good, amazing. So I actually bought some dowsing rods as well for myself, but I'm not that good with it. I mean, I have other tools, but I really like the way that Hope works with the dowsing rods. So accurate. It was like, and so quick. I was stunned. So again, this is a 30-minute dowsing session with Hope. Try and have some of your questions ready ahead of time. That will help, right? Hope.
Yes.
I'm trying not to make Hope talk too much. All the information is here. If you need clarity on a situation or something, it's not always just yes or no, because the way that Hope works, she goes deeper into questions and she's able to extract more information. So it's not just basic yes or no questions. Okay. And in the personal session, yes, she can work with the health questions, right, Hope? But in the
Yes.
live show, she doesn't like
Right.
to. So in the personal session, she can, okay? If you have questions like that. And so that is the package. Of course, if you are an Inner Circle member, please do use your gift code. For those of you who are VIP, again, please use your gift code, okay? And there is a payment plan available as well if you require it. All right, so that is the package. Any last words or wisdom for us, Hope?
Honestly, I've just really enjoyed being with everybody today. It's been such a pleasure to be with such an enlightened crowd. And yeah, I'm sorry, I'm really out of speaking capability right
That's okay.
now. So thank you,
That's okay.
Shefali. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Hope. And I was just going to say, we talked a lot at the beginning about the wave, the infinity wave, about the book, about the practices. So you can always go back and listen and or watch to get more information about that. And then we also talked about the workshop as well, right? The mastering the art of change, right? You awake, mastering the art of change. You can also go back and learn more about that. I will put the link of the workshop in the email and in the YouTube video description, so that you have it if you need it, as well, so that you can. It's the workshop's in July, right? But so there's still lots of time for that. Okay, and of course the packages, the package for Hope is available as well. All right, so please do take advantage of it. Like I said, she's amazing. I'm actually going to go and have a session with her right now if she is able to talk. But she's spot on, like spot on. And so if you are looking for clarity, if you're looking for information, if you're looking for support and help, definitely reach out and get that package with Hope. Okay. All right, everyone. So the recordings will be out in a little while. So thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Thank you, Hope, of course, again, for being here with us. Until next time, everyone, we'll be back tomorrow. We have a show tomorrow at 3. Until next time, may you continue to be blessed with an abundance of joy, peace, love, happiness, prosperity, and radiant health. Sending you all so much love and blessings. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
So Hope, I'm going to send you the link to my personal Zoom, okay?
Okay.
I think that would be best. Okay. And because it'll just be easier because I'm still
In the
recording
chat.
right now. I can, hopefully. I'm not sure. Let me see. Yeah, I can. No, I can't. I'll send it to you in the by email or the Facebook Messenger. Okay.
Okay, email would be better if you would, Mike.
Okay. Yeah, just give me 2 minutes.
Okay, no problem.
Bye, everyone. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.